organized by TFF Nepal. Please slide change. Reft 2020 is a program initiated with an objective to redefine and empower young food technologists by providing mentorship for idea incubation through webinars and online discussion sessions with different national and international food tech expertise to discuss on various challenges and opportunities in food science and technology. It's not just an event, it's a way of bringing impact. It's a festival. Having said that, I would like to hand over this session to our moderator. We have Ms. Insa Pun with Health and Nutrition in charge at Child Development Society. I would like to welcome Insaji. The session is yours. Please carry on.
Okay, thank you, Ghanshyamji. Am I audible and clear?
Yeah, please carry on.
Okay, so respected speakers and dear participants, well, you could have spent the next 2 hours of this time however way you had wanted, you know, in Netflix, in a new game or anything, but you chose to be here in this webinar of Reft 2020 because you are conscious of the looming food crisis. And you are here to understand your roles for combating food-related issues. And this is why the organizing team and I would like to heartily thank you for your valuable presence today, to each one of you. So namaste and a warm afternoon. My name is Insha Pun and I am a registered nurse here in Nepal working in the health and nutrition sector. It is a privilege for me to moderate today's session. So before starting, let me share our thankfulness to all the program partners for this Reft 2020 challenge. And because without your support, coming this far would have been a far-fetched dream. So our exclusive idea partner is Balio Nepal Nutrition Initiatives. Mentorship partners are YPART Nepal King's College. Supporting partners are Sustainability Week Kathmandu, Central Campus of Technology Dharan, he has sent his hearty wishes to all of us today. So, yes, we move to, without much ado, let me move to the very first speaker, Mr. Atul Upadhyay. And as I request Mr. Atul sir to unmute yourself, I'll introduce you to the participants. So, you hold PhD in agriculture science from Kagoshima University, Japan, and you have completed your postdoctoral training in natural products chemistry and pharmacognosy from Belgium. As the Chief Executive Officer of Bolio Nepal Nutrition Initiative and our IDEA partner, you oversee national project that aims to improve the child nutrition. Meanwhile, you are a member of international committees on food and nutrition, including the WHO FAO Codex Committee on Nutrition. Well, today you are here with us to share your insights on Poshan Mantra, the availability and accessibility of nutritious foods during and after COVID-19. So here you go, sir. May I request you to unmute yourself and share your insights for next 15 minutes, please.
Thank you so much, Amisha ji, for your kind invitation. I would first of all like to thank the organizers, Thought for Food, and other partners who have supported and thought of doing this event, which is very important and very timely. So without, how do I say this, without any further, I would just like to, do I need to share the screen, right? I'll be sharing the screen. Okay. Just give me 1 second, please. Great. Okay, so I am audible, I am visible, and my screen is visible, right?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Done. Thank you. Okay. Good. So, as a main concept presentation, it's all about Poshan Mantra, right? What exactly is the mantra that we should be needing in these days? At the moment, I work as a CEO of Bolio Nepal Nutrition Initiative, as well as I'm chair of Nutritionist and Dietitian Association of Nepal, Bhutan. So on behalf of these two organizations, I would be presenting my presentations. So the first thing is the situation of this country. We all know this fact very well. Where are we? 2016, we were 36% stunting. NMIX recent data at 31.5%, and then SDG says 50%. This is our requirement. Overall, more than a third of Nepalese children are still not receiving the minimum acceptable nutrients in the diet. So there is an issue. So what are the reasons? There have been so many different reasons that have been identified. The major one includes unhealthy consumption, diseases, education, wash, sanitation, poverty, and there are so many other things. My area of knowledge, experience is based on unhealthy consumption. This is what I'll be speaking about today. So the first thing is, where are we? This is the biggest challenge that I always see, supply demand conundrum. What I see is that the demand of consumption of processed food. Processed food consumption demand in one hand. And by processed food, I don't necessarily mean यसमै हो मेरो मेन प्रेजेन्टेसनको मेन मूलभूत कुरा यिनीहरुमै रहन्छ। अब फर्मुलेसनको हकमा redefining processed foods भनिरहेको छु। We have processed foods in the market. They are affordable. Are they healthy? One question. There are processed food in the market. They are healthy, but are they affordable? Another question. So you duita question la address garnako लागि we need to redefine processed food. We need to engage food technologists. We need to engage academia. We need to engage manufacturers. So यो एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा छ। दोस्रो मैले हेरेको छु एस्पिरेशनल मार्केटिङ भन्छु। It's not actual marketing, and marketing is simply that. In marketing, we're talking about moving brain. Brain la हामी चाहिँ what we say is wash your hands, otherwise you might get infected by COVID. So brain चल्यो यहाँ, right? So एरियामा त्यो काम गरिसकेपछि त्यो पर्टिकुलर एरियाको रिसर्चलाई चाहिँ हामी के गर्नु पर्यो, स्केल अप गरेर चाहिँ नेसन वाइड लानु पर्छ। यस्तो परिप्रेक्ष्यमा चाहिँ then came a big question, the learning question, and this new genre of approach which is designed to evolve the attitudes and behaviors of governments, private sectors, consumers, and civil society at large, simultaneously given in one given country, accelerate the food fortification agenda. The main agenda that I will be discussing on empowering food technologists is food fortification agenda. यो एजेन्डामा के गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने क्वेशनको एन्सर गर्नको लागि there came बलियो नेपाल। बलियो नेपाल यो संस्थाको मूल काम भनेको चाहिँ एउटा युनाइट इन्टायर नेसनलाई युनाइट गरेर चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ सबै नेपाललाई इन्स्पायर गर्ने। सो इन all and every citizen is engaged, everyone is engaged, so that every child has a chance to reach their potential. As a result, Nepal पनि एउटा full potential मा हुन्छ। So यो परिप्रेक्ष्यमा बलियो नेपाल आयो। So what exactly अहिलेको पोषण मन्त्र र बलियो नेपाल न्युट्रिसनिस्टको भूमिका के, फुड टेक्नोलोजिस्टको भूमिका के भन्दाखेरि make frequent habits healthier and healthy habits more frequent. This should be the roles of food technologists. Now let me explain you this graph. X-axis मा हामी देख्छौं न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी भएको फुडहरु लो बाट हाई, y-axis को left hand side where you get consumption frequency, side में price low देखिन है। यो जुन 3 dimension picture छ, यो तीनटा axis को कुराहरु छ। यहाँ हामी के छ भनेदेखि भने जुन फुड को चाहिँ न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी कम छ त्यसको पेनिट्रेसन हाई छ र त्यसको प्राइस लो छ। कस्तो फुड? स्टेपल्स and other highly consumed food. Staples भने rice भयो, for example, oil भयो, flour भयो, हैन? अन्य फुडहरु जो चाहिँ डेली युज जसको कन्जम्पसन फ्रिक्वेन्सी धेरै हाई छ बट अनफर्चुनेटली न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी लो छ। एकातिर यस्तो छ। अर्कोतिर हामी बटम राइट कर्नरको क्वाड्रान्ट हेर्छौं भने हामीसँग हाई न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी भएको बट हाई प्राइस एन्ड लो पेनिट्रेसन भएको फुड छ। एज अ फुड टेक्नोलोजिस्ट के रोल हुन सक्छ भनेदेखि स्टेपल्स फुड जसको न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी लो छ, पेनिट्रेसन हाई छ, प्राइस लो छ, त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले फोर्टिफाई गरेर चाहिँ इफ वी क्यान मेक इट न्युट्रिसन डेन्स फुड, त्यस्तै गरेर फोर्टिफाइड फुड जसको प्राइस हाई छ, पेनिट्रेसन लो छ, त्यसलाई हामीले सर्टेन मेक्स मोर एक्सेसिबल एन्ड अफोर्डेबल गरेर पेनिट्रेसन पनि बढाउने, प्राइस पनि घटाउने, त्यो काम गर्यो भने चाहिँ दैट बिकम्स बलियो बास्केट अफ फुड्स। त्यो यस्तो बास्केट तयार हुन्छ जुन बास्केटमा चाहिँ कस्तो फुड आउँछ? हाई पेनिट्रेसन भएको, लो प्राइस भएको र हाई न्युट्रिसन डेन्सिटी भएको। त्यो यस्तो खाले फुड बनाउन चाहिँ अब फुड टेक्नोलोजिस्टहरुले सोच्नु पर्यो र फुड फोर्टिफिकेसन कुड बी वन अफ द एभेन्यूज टु मेक दिस थिंग्स भनेर चाहिँ प्रस्ताव गर्न खोजिएको। र बलियो बास्केट अफ फुड्समा बेसिकली कस्ता कुराहरु आउँछन्? फोर्टिफाइड हेल्दी स्न्याक्सको कुराहरु आउँछन्, fortified staples का कुराहरु आउँछन्, indigenous and traditional foods हरु कुरा आउँछन्, र healthy unprocessed foods हरु पनि हुन्छ नि, जस्तै for example banana भयो, fruits भयो, eggs भयो, हैन, त्यो चाहिँ these are त्यसको चाहिँ massive रूपमा चाहिँ production agriculture productivity बढाउने भने चाहिँ price घट्छ, penetration बढ्छ. They are already very good foods, हैन. So त्यो यो कन्सेप्टमा एउटा बास्केट तयार हुन्छ, फुड अफ बास्केट, हैन. त्यो बास्केट अफ फुड चाहिँ त्यसमा यी सबै कुराहरु प्रावधान पुरा गरेर चाहिँ यी सबै कुराहरु हुन सक्छ. यही सन्दर्भमा हाम्रो संस्थाले अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ अहिले बेसिकली दुईटा खाले फर्स्ट इन्डिभिजुअल स्याशे अफ फोर्टिफाइड परेज इन नेपाल, नेपालमा चाहिँ यस्तो लिएर आएको छ, स्पेशली चाहिँ लिटो, जसको यो दुईटा कम्पनीसँग गरेर, जसको 25 ग्राम एउटा सर्भिङमा, प्राइस only 10 rupees, right? It's very cheap, हैन. त्यसपछि यो चाहिँ यसको फोर्टिफिकेसन कसरी गरिएको छ भनेदेखि भने 100 ग्रामले चाहिँ 1.5 RNI अथवा रिकमेन्डेड न्युट्रिएन्ट इन्टेक दिन्छ. एक सर्भिङ 25 ग्राम हुन्छ भनेपछि एउटा बच्चालाई चाहिँ एक दिनको 30% न्युट्रिएन्ट यो लिटोहरुबाट प्राप्त हुन्छ. इट्स भेरी अप्टिमाइज्ड रेसिपी, र यसको टेस्ट एकदमै बच्चालाई मन पर्ने टेस्ट भने दिस इज जस्ट द बिगिनिङ. यो भयो फर्मुलेसन. मार्केटिङ को हकमा हामी के गर्छौं भने दिस इज द होल
here, the role of governing bodies of food science and technology is just the topics where I'm going to highlight here. Though the 15 minutes time is not quite enough for me, but I try to complete, share my all thoughts within the time frame. Okay. First of all, यो गभर्निङ बडी भनेर जुन भनिएको छ, अब यो अलिकति मैले टाइम सर्ट भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि अलिकति यसमा स्पेसिफिक हुन चाहे। गभर्निङ बडी भन्ने बित्तिकै के बुझिन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यसमा यो एउटा ब्युरोक्रेटिक सिस्टम भन्ने कि, यसलाई एडमिनिस्ट्रेसन भन्ने कि, कमिटी भन्ने कि, एसेम्ब्ली भन्ने कि, एनीवे दिस इज जस्ट अ ग्रुप अफ द पिपुल द्याट एक्सरसाइज फर गुड गभर्नेन्स। सुशासनको लागि चाहिँ काम गर्ने एउटा बडी, गुड गभर्नेन्स भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि यो जहिले पनि नन प्रफिट अर्गनाइजेसन हुनुपर्छ, नन प्रफिट मेकिङ एउटा भनौँ न त्यसको एउटा मोटिभ हुनुपर्छ भन्ने कुरो हामी सबैलाई सर्वविदितै छ। र यसको मेन फङ्सन भनेको के हो एउटा गभर्निङ बडीको भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यसलाई लिगल डकुमेन्टहरू तयार पार्ने, कोड अफ प्र्याक्टिसहरू बनाउने, निर्देशिकाहरू, कार्यविधिहरू, रेगुलेसनहरू बनाउने हैन। अनि यसले चाहिँ एउटा ह्युमन राइट्सको एउटा प्रत्याभूति दिन सक्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मैले यसलाई बुझेको छु। र अब स्पेसली अब यो फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको लेन्सले यदि हामीले हेर्ने हो भने चाहिँ नेपालमा धेरैवटा यो लाइन एजेन्सिजहरू छन्, मिनिस्ट्रीहरू छन्। त्यसमध्ये यो मिनिस्ट्री अफ एग्रिकल्चर एन्ड लाइभ स्टक डेभलपमेन्ट, कृषि तथा पशुपन्छी विकास मन्त्रालय भनिन्छ, गृह मन्त्रालय, मिनिस्ट्री अफ होम एफेयर, मिनिस्ट्री अफ एजुकेसन, साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी, हेल्थ एन्ड पपुलेसन। अब यो 2-4वटा मन्त्रालयहरू चाहिँ एक आपसमा चाहिँ इन्टर रिलेटेड देखिन्छन् हैन। यो मिनिस्ट्री अफ एग्रिकल्चर एन्ड लाइभ स्टक डेभलपमेन्ट यो सोल यो एउटा मिनिस्ट्री चाहिँ फुड सेफ्टी, फुड ल, फिड एक्ट, यो फुडसँग रिलेटेड एक्टहरू इम्प्लिमेन्ट गराउने एउटा गभर्नमेन्ट बडी भए तापनि दिस अर्गनाइजेसन एलोन क्यान नट डु इभन दो देयर इज अ the strength, the food or feed, the legislative, the wishes, त्यो भएर के पनि हुँदैन। र धेरैवटा स्टेक होल्डर्सहरू, धेरैवटा लाइन एजेन्सीहरू चाहिँ एक आपसमा कोअर्डिनेसन गर्दै जानुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ मैले यहाँहरूसँग सेयर गर्न चाहेँ हैन। यो यहाँ मैले कुराहरू भने। अब यसमा चाहिँ अलिकति एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ डिभिजन हाम्रो नेपालमा हेर्ने हो भने चाहिँ अहिले 3 चरणको सरकार हामीसँग छ। फेडरल गभर्मेन्ट, 7वटा प्रोभिन्सहरू हामीसँग छन्, 77 जिल्ला, अहिले 75बाट 2वटा जिल्ला थपेर 77 जिल्ला भएको छ हैन। 6वटा मेट्रो सिटीहरू छन्, 11वटा यो उपमहानगरपालिका भनौँ, सब मेट्रो सिटी, अनि म्युनिसिपालिटिज, अहिले त गाउँपालिकालाई रुरल म्युनिसिपालिटी भनेर भनिएको छ। अब यो यति धेरै हामीसँग एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिभ डिभिजन हुँदै पनि फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीले चाहिँ किन अलिकति यो त्यो सेक्टरमा यसको राम्रो तरिकाले एक्सटेन्सन, राम्रो तरिकाले एउटा फुड सेफ्टीको चाहिँ प्रत्याभूति आम उपभोक्ताले किन पाइरहेका छैनन् भन्ने कुरोमा प्रश्न उठ्न सक्छ। यसको लागि चाहिँ धेरै च्यालेन्जहरू छन्। पछि अहिले हामी च्यालेन्जहरू यस विषयमा म सेयर गर्न चाहन्छु। के छ भन्दाखेरि अहिले हामी फेडरल गभर्मेन्टमा मात्र सीमित भयौँ हैन। यो वास्तव नेपाल भनेको त गाउँमै गाउँको देश भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि जबसम्म यो ग्राउन्ड लेभलसम्म हाम्रो एक्सटेन्सन, हाम्रो के अरे रेगुलेटरी बडिजहरू, गभर्निङ बडिजहरू चाहिँ इस्टाब्लिस हुँदैन, तबसम्म राज्यको उपस्थिति जबसम्म हुँदैन तबसम्म विज्ञान तथा प्रविधि स्पेसली त्यो फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको चाहिँ विकास हुन सक्छ अथवा आम उपभोक्ताले खाद्य स्वच्छताको एउटा प्रत्याभूति पाउन सक्छन् भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ प्रश्न उठ्न सक्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा ग्राउन्ड लेभलसम्म यो डिएफटिक्युसी, डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ फुड टेक्नोलोजी एन्ड क्वालिटी कन्ट्रोलको युनिट्सहरू चाहिँ इस्टाब्लिस हुन आवश्यक छ। जस्तो अब यहाँ के छ भन्दाखेरि डिएफटिक्युसी, डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ फुड टेक्नोलोजी एन्ड क्वालिटी कन्ट्रोल, यो त एउटा के छ भन्दाखेरि नेपाल सरकारको एउटा इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन, फुड एक्ट इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्ने एउटा बडी हो। तर यो बडी, यो गभर्मेन्ट बडी, यो गभर्निङ बडीले मात्र केही गर्न सक्दैन जबसम्म डिफ्रेन्ट स्टेक होल्डर्सहरू जस्तो फार्मर्स, transporter, distributors, importer, even media, of course, किनभने यो awareness प्रोग्रामहरू चाहिँ हैन यो इन्फर्मेसन एजुकेसन कम्युनिकेसन डिस्ट्रिब्युट गर्न चाहिँ मिडिया सेक्टरको त्यति इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ र कन्ज्युमर एक्टिभिस्टहरू अनि अरू एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनहरू यो जबसम्म यी सबै स्टेक होल्डरहरू एक भएर चाहिँ हामी अगाडि बढ्न सक्दैनौँ तबसम्म यो फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी फुड सेफ्टीको प्रत्याभूति चाहिँ उपभोक्ताले हुन सक्दैनन् भन्ने कुरो मैले सेयर गर्न चाहे। अब अलिकति म अलिक स्पेसिफिक हुन चाहे अब यो गुड गभर्नेन्स स्पेसली फुड सेफ्टीको सवालमा वाइ इट इज इम्पोर्टेन्ट किन खाद्य सुशासन चाहिँ महत्त्वपूर्ण छ भन्दाखेरि राज्यले अहिले यो जुन लेटेस्ट अहिले कोभिड-19 को जुन एउटा पेन्डेमिक सिचुएसनमा के रियलाइज गर्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हेर्नुहोस् है अब धेरै मानिसहरू यो अहिले WHO को डाटा लेटेस्ट हेर्नु छ भने यो 2019 को हो यो सरी मोर देन 200 डिजिज नाउ दे आर फाउन्ड टु बी फुडबर्न। अब अहिले यो यति धेरै फुडबर्न डिजिज रहेछन् कि प्रत्येक 10 जना मान्छे एकजना मान्छे बिरामी हुने हैन 1400 मान्छेमा चाहिँ एकजना मान्छे मर्ने। अब यो यस्तो यो लिस्ट डेभलपिङ कन्ट्री नेपाल जस्तो यो एलसिडी कन्ट्रीमा चाहिँ एकदमै यो कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि पेन्डेमिक एकदम सिचुएसन चाहिँ टेरिबल सिचुएसन रहेको कारणले गर्दाखेरि हामीले अहिले के गरिरहेको छौँ नेपाल गभर्मेन्टले के रियलाइज गरिरहेको छ भन्दाखेरि हैन फुड सेफ्टीलाई चाहिँ अलिकति प्राथमिकता दिनुपर्ने रहेछ खालि यो के अरे प्लान पोलिसी स्ट्राटेजीहरू मात्र बनाएर हुँदैन यसलाई चाहिँ एउटा इफेक्टिभली इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ अहिले गभर्मेन्टले यो रियलाइज गरेको कुरो छ र अहिले करेन्ट सिचुएसन पनि हामीले यसो हेर्ने हो भने चाहिँ अब यो माइक्रोबियल कन्टामिनेसन भाइरस अब यो केमिकल यो के अरे तपाईँको हाइजार्ड्सहरू लाइक यो पप्स होइन पर्सिस्टेन्ट अर्गान यो तपाईँको बायोफेनलहरू पोलिक्लोरिनेटेड बायोफेनल एन्टिबायोटिक्सहरू हेभी अब यो धेरै छन् यी यस्ता किसिमका हेजार्ड्सहरूको कारणले गर्दाखेरि हामीमा यति यो मेडिकल साइन्सलाई यति धेरै लोड भइरहेको छ। अब यो हामी मेडिकल साइन्समा जति पनि पैसा इन्भेस्ट गर्न वी आर रेडी तर अब प्रिभेन्सन इज हैन बेटर देन केयर भन्ने जुन प्रिन्सिपल हामीलाई थाहा हुँदै पनि किन हामी कन्ट्रोल मेकानिजममा नजाने प्रिभेन्टिभ वेमा किन नजाने भन्ने उद्देश्यले चाहिँ अब अहिले धेरै किसिमको यो एवेरनेसको प्रोग्रामहरू सँगसँगै ल्याबोरेटरी सेटअप गर्ने कुराहरू आदि कुराहरूमा चाहिँ नेपाल गभर्मेन्टले बजेटहरू पनि एलोकेट गरिरहेको छ कार्यक्रमहरूलाई पनि स्ट्रेन्थन गर्दै गइरहेको कुरो मैले यहाँलाई जानकारी गराउन थापेँ। र अब अहिले अझै यसको सिचुएसन हेर्ने भने स्टिल देयर इज कन्फ्युजन हामीसँग के कन्फ्युजन छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हेर्नु अब यो कोभिड-19 अब अलिकति म यसमा स्पेसिफिक हुन चाहे र यो कति डोज भयो भने चाहिँ हामी स्टिल यो इन्फेक्सन हुन्छ भन्ने कुरो नट नोन थाहा छैन। अब कतिले के भन्छन् कसैले के भन्छन् कति टेम्परेचरमा यो चाहिँ तपाईँको यो टेम्परेचरमा चाहिँ यो भाइरसले हामी इनिबिट गर्न सक्छौँ अब 65 डिग्री सेन्टिग्रेड भन्दा बढीको टेम्परेचर भनेर भनिएको छ तर लो टेम्परेचर हेर्ने हो भने कति टेम्परेचर चाहिँ यसले रेसिस्ट गर्न सक्छ किनभने चाइनाबाट तपाईँको डेली होइन जो फ्राङ्कफर्ट तपाईँको पर्क मिटहरू गइरहेको छन् तपाईँको बाहिर यो साउथ अमेरिकन कन्ट्रीबाट चिकनहरू नेपाल आइरहेको छ डेभलपिङ कन्ट्रीमा आइरहेको छ एकदम फ्रोजन कन्डिसनमा आइरहेको छ भने यहाँ लिटरेचरहरूमा के देखिन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ फ्रोजन कन्डिसनमा पनि यो भाइरसहरू चाहिँ स्टिल सर्भाइभ हुन्छ भनेर भनिएको छ तर कति टेम्परेचरसम्ममा सर्भाइभ हुन्छ कुनै समय इट इज नट स्टिल नट प्रुभ येट होइन त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि पनि हामीलाई यस्ता किसिमका कन्फ्युजनहरूलाई मिटिगेट गर्नको लागि पनि साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीलाई अझ इम्पावर गर्नुपर्छ स्ट्रेन्थन गर्दै जानुपर्छ यसमा रिसर्चहरू हुनुपर्छ भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँ जानकारी गराउन चाहेँ। तर अब अझै त्यहाँ कुन कुन स्ट्रेनहरू आइरहेका छन् होइन स्ट्रेनको बारेमा पनि स्टिल नट नोन थाहा छैन हामीले यो होइन यसको सिम्टम पनि इट भ्यारिज फ्रम पिपल टु पिपल होइन प्लेस टु प्लेस हामीलाई फरक भएछ भने यो किसिमको सिचुएसन अहिले हामीले पाइरहेका छौँ भनेपछि हामीले के गर्नुपर्दा यो फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी एन्ड द बायोटेक्नोलोजी यो डोमेनलाई चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टले के गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि खालि रेगुलेसन गर्ने मात्र होइन इन्फर्मेसन एजुकेसन र कम्युनिकेसनको माध्यमबाट यसलाई चाहिँ यस्तो जेनरलाइज गर्नु पर्यो कि यसमा अझ बढी रिसर्चहरू हुन सक्यो। अब भनौँ त अहिले मेडिकल साइन्सलाई यति कोभिड-19 को बेला यति बढी बर्डन प्रेसर छ हामीले के गरिरहेको छौँ फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीलाई हामी आज मास्टर डिग्री गऱ्यौँ भनौँ पिएचडी गऱ्यौँ भनौँ बायोटेक्नोलोजीमा हामीले काम गरिरहेको छौँ भनौँ तर खोइ त हाम्रो रोल यो हामीले रोल त केही पनि गर्न सकेनौँ त्यहाँनिर भनेपछि चाहिँ हामीले यसलाई चाहिँ यसो अझ बढी रिसर्चहरू गरेर हामीले भन्नुभयो त यो साइन्स टेक्नोलोजी र न्युट्रिसनलाई अझ बढी स्ट्रेन्थन गरेर अझ वाइड गर्न नसकेको हो कि हामीले गर्नुपर्छ। यसको लागि चाहिँ राज्यको मात्र मुख ताकेर हुँदैन। यसको लागि हामीले के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा हाम्रो देशमा अलिकति कमजोरी मैले के देखिरहेको छु भन्दा गभर्मेन्ट अनि प्राइभेट सेक्टर अनि त्यहाँबाट तपाईँको निजी सेक्टर, यो प्राइभेट सेक्टर, गभर्मेन्ट, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिच्युट होइन, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिच्युट, गभर्मेन्ट सेक्टर र प्राइभेट सेक्टर, यो तीनवटा बिचमा चाहिँ एउटा कोअर्डिनेसनै भएन, छँदै छैन। हेर्नुहोस् है, प्राइभेट सेक्टरको प्रब्लम छ, एकातिर प्रब्लम छ, त्यो प्रब्लमलाई न गभर्मेन्टले हेरेको छ। एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनमा रिसर्चहरू भएको छ, त्यो रिसर्च कसको रिसर्च गरिरहेको छ, कसको प्रब्लमलाई चाहिँ एड्रेस गर्नलाई रिसर्च गरिरहेको छ। हेर्नुहोस्, रिसर्च भएका पनि छन्, नभएको होइन। गभर्मेन्टले रेगुलेसन पनि गरिरहेको छ, प्राइभेट सेक्टरको प्रब्लम आफ्नो ठाउँको ठाउँ छ। त्यसका लागि चाहिँ प्राइभेट र पब्लिकको यो पार्टनरसिप मात्र थ्योरिटिकल मात्र हामीले गएर हुँदैन। त्यो प्रब्लम के छ, इन्डस्ट्रीको प्रब्लम, प्राइभेट सेक्टरको प्रब्लम के छ, त्यो प्रब्लम चाहिँ एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनलाई उहाँहरूले कोअर्डिनेट गर्नु पर्यो। एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनले के गर्ने भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो प्रब्लममा रिसर्च गर्ने, प्रब्लमलाई आइडेन्टिफिकेसन गर्ने, अनि त्यहाँबाट करेक्टिभ मेजरहरू फाइन्डिङ गरेर गभर्मेन्टसँग के गर्नु त प्लान, पोलिसी, स्ट्राटेजी गर्नुपर्छ। जबसम्म हामी त्यो वेमा हामी जाँदैनौँ तबसम्म चाहिँ के हुँदो रहेछ भन्दाखेरि प्राइभेट सेक्टरको प्रब्लम आफूसँग भइ नै रहन्छ। हेर्नुहोस्, प्राइभेट सेक्टरको प्रब्लम हामीसँग भइरहन्छ, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनले पनि थेसिसहरू गराउने काम, रिसर्च गराउने काम भइ नै रहन्छ, गभर्मेन्टले प्लान, पोलिसी बनाउँछ, काम कागजी रूपमा हुन्छ, जनताले के पायो त? नथिङ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ एकदमै मैले यो मेरो मनमा लागेको कुरो यहाँहरूले मलाई करेक्सन गरिदिनु होला। अनि त्यहाँ के उ भयो भने एट द एन्ड अफ द सेसन यो के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ मैले देखेको जबसम्म प्राइभेट सेक्टर, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसन र गभर्मेन्टको बिचमा चाहिँ एउटा ट्रायङ्गुलर रिलेसनसिप जबसम्म बिल्डअप हुँदैन तबसम्म चाहिँ प्रब्लमहरू भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ आइरहन्छन् भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँलाई जानकारी गराउन चाहेँ। र अहिलेसम्म हेर्नुहोस्, अब कुनै पनि किसिमको भ्याक्सिन्सहरू हामीसँग पत्ता लागेको छैन। प्रिभेन्सन गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरो चाहिँ भनिएको छ। अब खालि प्रोटेक्सन गर्ने, फुडलाई चाहिँ सेभ गर्ने, हेल्दी इन्भाइरोमेन्ट गर्ने भनेर हामी ती मात्र गइरहेका छौँ भने चाहिँ अझ यसको लागि चाहिँ होइन कुन किसिमको हाम्रो मेडिसिनल प्लान्ट्सहरू होला, होइन हामी यति धेरै डाइभर्सिफाइड हामीसँग इन्भाइरोमेन्टहरू छन्, रिसोर्सहरू छन्, त्यो रिसोर्सहरूलाई चाहिँ आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर त्यो प्रब्लमलाई चाहिँ मिटिगेट गर्न सक्ने हामीसँग क्षमता हुँदाहुँदै पनि हामीले के गर्न यो कामहरू अगाडि बढाउन सकिरहेका छैनौँ। यसको लागि चाहिँ साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी होइन, स्पेसली फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको चाहिँ ठुलो रोल मैले यहाँ महसुस गरिरहेको छु। अब यसमा आगामी दिनहरूमा चाहिँ हामीले यसमा बृहत रूपमा बसेर एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिच्युट र प्राइभेट सेक्टरसँग बसेर गभर्मेन्टले चाहिँ ब्रिज अप गराउने काम चाहिँ गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्यो। अनि अर्को कुरो के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो खालि अब अहिले यो के छ भन्दाखेरि हामीलाई सबैलाई थाहा छ कि इम्युन सिस्टम नै हामीलाई दिस इज भेरी भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट, द्याट इज द फङ्सन अफ द सेल्स, टिस्युज एन्ड अर्गन्स भनेर हामीले भनिरहेका छौँ। अब यसमा मात्र हामीले अगाडि बसेर भएन, अब हामीले चाहिँ नयाँ नयाँ किसिमका चाहिँ रिसोर्सहरू फाइन्डिङ गरेर नयाँ नयाँ किसिमको चाहिँ फुडहरू आइडेन्टिफिकेसन गरेर बायोएक्टिभ कम्पाउन्डहरू चाहिँ आइडेन्टिफाइड गरेर अब यो यस्ता किसिमका यो कोभिड-19 त एउटा एक्जाम्पल मात्र हो। अब भोलि गएर यस्ता किसिमका पेन्डेमिक सिचुएसन धेरै पनि आउन सक्छन्, तिनीहरूको बारेमा चाहिँ क्राइसिस भोलि आउन सक्छ। त्यो क्राइसिसलाई म्यानेज गर्नको लागि चाहिँ त्यतातिर पनि हामीले सोच्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँ सेयर गर्न चाहेँ। अब गभर्मेन्टको रोल पनि छ। अब हेर्नु है, यहाँले अब खालि अब गभर्मेन्टको रोल पनि छ, प्राइभेट सेक्टरको रोल पनि छ। अब गभर्मेन्टको रोल मैले अलिकति यहाँ भन्न चाहेँ नि, गभर्मेन्टले चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा एउटा लिडरसिपको भूमिका खेल्नु पर्यो होइन, स्ट्रिक्ट मोनिटरिङ गरिदिनु पर्यो, ब्रान्डिङ गरिदिनु पर्यो प्रोडक्टहरूलाई चाहिँ होइन, ट्याक्सहरूलाई सब्सिडाइज गरिदिने। गभर्मेन्टले खालि ट्याक्स उठाउने काम मात्र गर्नु भएन। फुड साइन्स है नयाँ नयाँ प्रोडक्टहरू आउँछन् भने धेरै प्रोडक्टहरूको चाहिँ अब ट्याक्सहरू कलेक्ट गरेर त्यो ट्याक्सबाट धेरै कन्ट्री होइन मात्र रन गर्ने भन्ने कुरो मात्र भएन, रिसोर्सहरू फाइन्डिङ गरिदिने अनि त्यहाँबाट लाइसेन्सिङ सर्टिफिकेसनहरू गरिदिने, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसनहरूलाई बिल्डिङ गरिदिने काम गभर्मेन्ट सेक्टरले गर्नु पर्यो। र त्यस्तै अरू एक्टहरू पनि छन् यो हामीसँग यो एक्टहरूलाई इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्ने अथोरिटीहरू जस्तो फुड एक्टको डिएफटिपिसी भयो, यस्तै मदर्स मिल्क सब्स्टिट्युट एक्टहरू, कन्ज्युमर प्रोटेक्सन एक्टहरू, आयोडाइज सल्ट प्रोडक्सन एन्ड डिस्ट्रिब्युसन एक्ट, पेस्टिसाइड एक्ट, सर्ट हाउस मिट इन्सपेक्सन, यी धेरै एक्टहरू हामीसँग कागजी रूपमा त छन् तर यिनीहरू इफेक्टिभली लाग्न सकिरहेको छ। फुड एक्ट त हामीले काम गरिरहेका छौँ, जस्तो सर्ट हाउसको हेर्नु त यो 2055 हुनुपर्ने 2055 सालमा यो बच्चालाई ऐनहरू बन्यो तर खोइ अहिलेसम्म त्यसको लागि काम हुन सकेको छैन मासुको सिचुएसन हेर्यो भने यति टेरिबल छ अहिले हैन अब कसले नगरपालिकाले गर्ने भन्ने कि डिएफटिपिसीले गर्ने भन्ने कि अब यो पशु सेवाले गर्ने भन्ने कि एउटा गभर्नमेन्टको बिचमा पनि के छ भन्दा राम्रो कोअर्डिनेसन नभएको कि भन्ने मैले पर्सनली यो मैले फिल गरेको छु हैन अब यी भए अनि त्यस्तै अर्को यहाँ ड्रग एक्ट छ त्यस्तै नेपाल स्ट्यान्डर्ड एक्ट इन्भाइरोमेन्टल प्रोटेक्सन एक्ट स्ट्यान्डर्ड यो सबै एक्टहरू हैन पनि छन् अथोरिटी जिम्मेवारी वहन गर्ने निकायहरू पनि छन् यी सबै निकायहरूको बिचमा चाहिँ यिनीहरू भनेका गभर्निङ बडिजहरू यसलाई गुड गभर्नेन्स दिने अथोरिटीहरू भए अब यी बडीहरूको बिचमा पनि के हुनु पर्यो भन्दाखेरि कोअर्डिनेसनको अलिकति ल्याक मैले देखिरहेको पाएको छु अब समग्रमा मैले भन्नुपर्दा यी सबै एक्टहरू सबै निकायहरू गभर्निङ बडिजहरू चाहिँ एक भएर कोअर्डिनेट गरेर प्रब्लमलाई आइडेन्टिफाई गरेर एक आपसमा ओभरल्याप नभएर हामीले चाहिँ एउटा फुड सेफ्टीको गोलमा लाग्न अघि बढ्यौँ र प्राइभेट सेक्टरले पनि यसलाई साथ दियो मिडियाले पनि हामीले यसलाई कभर गर्यो हैन भन्ने चाहिँ अनि के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि हामी फुड सेफ्टीको गोलमा अगाडि बढ्न सक्छौँ नत्र भने चाहिँ अलिकति यो अलिकति हामी त्यसमै रुम लिन सक्छौँ भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँलाई सेयर गराएँ अब यो सेफ प्रोडक्टहरू उत्पादन गर्नको लागि चाहिँ हैन अब फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजीको कुरा गर्दाखेरि हाम्रो अब्जेक्टिभ भनेको के फुड साइन्स टेक्नोलोजी न्युट्रिसनको मेन अब्जेक्टिभ भनेको ब्रान्डेड प्रोडक्ट निकाल्ने हो र सेफ प्रोडक्ट निकाल्ने हो त्यसको लागि गभर्नमेन्ट मात्र अथवा प्राइभेट सेक्टर मात्र त्यसमा के अरे एक भएर कमिटेड भएर यसमा हुँदैन यसमा चाहिँ के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा सबै निकायहरू सबै स्टेक होल्डरहरू चाहिँ एक भएर लाग्नुपर्छ प्रोडक्टको स्ट्यान्डर्ड गभर्नमेन्टले बनाउनु पर्यो कमिटमेन्ट गर्नु पर्यो गभर्नमेन्ट पनि कमिटेड हुनु पर्यो प्राइभेट सेक्टर पनि कमिटेड हुनु पर्यो हैन जिएचपी जिएमपीका कुराहरू सर्टिफिकेसनको कुराहरू लेभलिङका कुराहरू अनि इन्डिजिनियस मेथडमा मात्र डिपेन्ड भएर भएन अटोमेसनमा जानु पर्यो मार्केटिङ गर्नु पर्यो सबै निकायसँग कोअर्डिनेसन गर्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ हामी फुड सेफ्टीबाट हामी अगाडि जान सक्छौँ र एउटा ब्रान्डेड प्रोडक्टहरू हामी उत्पादन गर्न सक्छौँ आज हामी गुन्द्रुक भन्छौँ सिङ्की भन्छौँ खोइ गुन्द्रुक सिङ्की आज के अरे तपाईँको इन्डियाले चाहिँ आफ्नो ब्रान्ड बनाइसक्यो आज हामी छ्याङ भनेर हामी नेपाली प्रोडक्ट खान्छौँ साउथ कोरियाले ब्रान्ड लिइसक्यो ब्रान्डेड गरिसक्यो भने चाहिँ कहाँ गयो साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी होइन खालि हामी के भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ खालि अरूको गरेको रिसर्चहरू मात्रै के भन्दाखेरि त्यहाँ कन्फाइन भयो भने चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो मौलिकता आफ्नो प्रोडक्टहरू है त्यसलाई चाहिँ अटोमेसन गर्ने त्यसलाई ब्रान्डेड गर्ने त्यो त्यतापट्टि चाहिँ हामी गएनौँ त्यसलाई कमर्सियलाइज गर्ने भन्ने गर्नु हाम्रो गुन्द्रुक सिङ्की कसैले चिन्दैन साउथ कोरियाको किम्ची भनेर हामी खाइरहेका छौँ भनेपछि चाहिँ अलिकति फुड साइन्स एन्ड टेक्नोलोजी चाहिँ के हुनु पर्यो भन्दाखेरि अलिकति आफ्नो सानो कुरामा चेन्ज ल्याउने हो क्या हामीले धेरै ठुलो कुरा गर्नु पर्दैन सानो काममा चेन्ज ल्यायौँ भने द्याट वुड बी भेरी भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट भेरी भेरी इफेक्टिभ हुन्छ भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँ जानकारी गराएँ र अहिलेको अब एक्जिस्टिङ कोडेक्स हाम्रो फुड कन्ट्रोल सिस्टम चाहिँ एउटा कोडेक्स एडप्टेड छ सानो मैले यहाँ जानकारी गराएँ हाम्रो एउटा फुड क्वालिटीको लागि चाहिँ चारवटा पिलरहरू छन् एउटा ऐन कानुनको कुराहरू भए प्रयोगशालाका कुराहरू भए सूचनाका कुराहरू भए र एउटा मोनिटरिङका कुराहरू भए यो रिस्क बेस्ड इन्सपेक्सनका कुराहरू छन् यसरी नै नेपाल गभर्मेन्टले काम गरिरहेको छ यो हाम्रो कोडेक्स एडप्टेड हो यो त्यस्तै क्वालिटी कन्ट्रोल प्रोग्रामको लागि चाहिँ फुड सेफ्टी क्वालिटी कन्ट्रोल प्रोग्रामको लागि मार्केट इन्सपेक्सन पनि रुटिन रूपमा भइरहेको छ स्याम्पल कलेक्सन गरिन्छ बोर्ड कस्टम पोइन्टहरूबाट होटल रेस्टुरेन्टहरूबाट सुपर मार्केटहरूबाट होइन विभिन्न ठाउँमा चाहिँ ऱ्यापिड रेस्पोन्स टिमहरू चाहिँ मोबिलाइज भएको छ हाम्रो अहिले प्रमुख अतिथिज्यू यही हुनुहुन्छ उहाँको नै यो के भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ सबै क्रेडिट चाहिँ वास्तवमा पर्सनली मैले भन्नुपर्दा हाम्रो प्रमुख अतिथिज्यू जीवन प्रवालामाज्यू यही हुनुहुन्छ उहाँलाई चाहिँ वास्तवमा एकदम धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु हामीले उहाँलाई धेरै मिसप्रिङ गरेका छौँ उहाँको प्लान पोलिसी स्ट्राटेजी हो हामी त आर्किटेक्टमा नै गरेको हो सबै कामहरू उहाँहरूको योगदान हो है र त्यो कामले अहिले नेपाल गभर्मेन्टले पनि फलोअप गरिरहेको छ यो मोबाइल भ्यान उहाँकै पालामा आएको यो ल्याबोरेटरी एनालाइसिस गर्ने ठाउँ ठाउँमा स्याम्पलहरू कलेक्ट गर्ने स्पटमा एनालाइसिस गर्ने कारबाही गर्ने होइन त्यो तपाईँको सब स्ट्यान्डर्ड प्रोडक्टहरू म्यानुफ्याक्चर चाहिँ अनि कसैले पर्सनली इन्भेस्टिगेटिभ स्याम्पलहरू पनि हामी कलेक्ट गर्छौँ अब यो विभिन्न किसिमको कामहरू चाहिँ गरिरहेको छ त्यसमा पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा चाहिँ सिक्नलाई त तपाईँ हेर्नु त मास्टर डिग्री पढ्नुपर्ने रहेछ सिक्नको लागि भनेपछि हामीले अहिले पनि तपाईँको गाउँ गाउँमा गएर हात धुन सिकायौँ भने फुड सेफ्टीले ठुलो तपाईँको त्यहाँ फड्को मार्न सक्छ र यो के अरे मेडिकल साइन्सलाई धेरै मेडिकल तपाईँको लोड पनि कम हुन्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ एवेरनेस प्रोग्राम धेरै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ। पोस्टरहरू लिफलेटहरू प्रदर्शन गर्ने, पब्लिकेसनहरू गर्ने, डिस्ट्रिब्युसन गर्ने, जर्नलहरूमा पब्लिस गर्ने कामहरूले गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने मैले कुरा जानकारी गराएँ। म धेरै समय लिन चाहन्न। र हामीले अहिले गरेका लेटेस्ट कामहरू चाहिँ के भएका छन् भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अलिकति निर्देशिका हैन, यो निर्देशिका भनेर 2075 सालमा स्वस्थकर दूध उत्पादन तथा बिक्री वितरण निर्देशिका हामीले अहिले यो डिजाइन गरेका छौँ र अहिले यो 3 महिनामा चाहिँ 30 भन्दा बढी इन्टरप्रेनरहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले मुद्दा दायर गरिसकेका छौँ। यो पनि एउटा क्वालिटी कन्ट्रोलको एक्जाम्पल मैले जानकारी गराएँ। मा 2 वर्ष अगाडि 3 वर्ष अगाडि डाटी बनाए चाहिँ यस्ता किसिमका इन्डस्ट्रीलाई पनि एउटा कानुनी दायरामा ल्यायौँ र आम उपभोक्तालाई चाहिँ एउटा खाद्य स्वच्छताको प्रत्याभूति दियौँ। एउटा गभर्नमेन्ट बडी गर्ने बाहिरबाट आइरहेको छ। हेर्नुहोस् यो भनेपछि चाहिँ अब यी यस्ता किसिमका प्रोडक्टहरू चाहिँ बाट ट्रायलको लागि आएको हो कि नेपालमा हैन, कस्तो अवस्थामा आएको छ भनेर राज्यले के छ भन्दा गाइडलाइन्स बनाएर यसलाई रेगुलेसन गर्ने काम गरिरहेको छ, मोनिटरिङ गर्ने काम गरिरहेको छ, स्याम्पलहरू कलेक्ट गरेर चाहिँ यो एकोर्डिङ टु द स्ट्यान्डर्ड अनुसार छ कि छैन त यो युएसएफडिए को स्ट्यान्डर्ड अनुसार अथवा इन्डियाबाट आएको छ भने चाहिँ एफएसएसए को स्ट्यान्डर्ड अनुसार छ कि छैन। अब हामीले पनि हाम्रो स्ट्यान्डर्ड यसमा बनाउँदैछौँ। यो अहिले यो एकदमै तपाईँको के अरे यो गत आर्थिक वर्षमा मात्रै तपाईँको झन्डै यो 50 करोडभन्दा बढीको सामान चाहिँ नेपालमा चाहिँ इम्पोर्ट भइसकेको अवस्था छ। 8-9 महिना यो लकडाउन हुनुभन्दा अगाडि 6 महिनामै यो 6 महिना त झन्डै लकडाउनै भयो भनेपछि यो किसिमको स्थिति आएको छ। यतापट्टि पनि हामीले ध्यान दिनुपर्छ भन्ने जानकारी गराएँ। त्यस्तै मासुको पनि एउटा डाइरेक्टिभ 2073 सालमा बनिसकेको छ। तर के छ भन्दा यो डाइरेक्टिभ चाहिँ अलिकति निष्क्रिय भएर बसिरहेको छ। किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यसमा कसले रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी लिने भनेर अलिकति यसमा समन्वय हुन सकिरहेको छैन। पशु सेवा विभाग नेपाल सरकारकै एउटा निकाय भए तापनि उसले के गर्छ, यो मेरो सेक्टर हो भन्ने खाद्य प्रविधि हामीले प्रोसेस मिटको हामीले र मिट होइन पोस्ट हार्भेस्ट हामीले हेर्नुपर्छ भन्ने, नगरपालिका हामी हेर्छौँ भने धेरै बिरालो भए चाहिँ मुसा नमर्ने रहेछ होइन। त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सबैले गर्ने भने कोही नगर्ने। त्यो कारणले गर्दा पनि खाद्य प्रविधिले के गर्यो भन्दा चाहिँ ल होइन यो मिट प्रोसेसिङ एक्ट चाहिँ लागू गर्नुपर्छ, म डाइरेक्टिभ बनाउनुपर्छ, काम गर्नुपर्छ भनेर चाहिँ हामीले यो काम चाहिँ अलिकति सुरु गरेका छौँ। र पहिलाको भन्दा मासुको स्थिति धेरै सुधार चाहिँ हुँदैछ तर जति एउटा सेटिस्फ्याक्ट्री लेभल हामी पुगिसकेका छैनौँ। यो एनी कानुनको कुरोहरू काम भइरहेको छ। त्यस्तै अल्कोहोलिक बेभरेज को पनि काम भइरहेको छ। हामीले स्ट्यान्डर्डहरू बनिरहेका छौँ। यसको जस्तो विस्की, रम, ब्रान्डी केही प्रोडक्टहरूको चाहिँ म्यान्डेटरी स्ट्यान्डर्ड पनि बनिसकेको छ। बियर र के अरे वाइनको चाहिँ स्ट्यान्डर्ड बनाउने काम हुँदैछ। अब के छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यो अल्कोहोलिक बेभरेज पनि नेपालमा चाहिँ धेरै बाहिरबाट इम्पोर्ट हुने, नेपाललाई पनि धेरै अल्कोहल चाहिँ कल्चरको रूपमा युज हुने भएको कारणले गर्दा अब यो अल्कोहलको बारेमा धेरै कुराहरू पनि आएको छ। हाम्रो माननीयज्यूले पनि के अरे अस्ति 1 नम्बर प्रदेशमा यस विषयमा धेरै कुरा उठाउनु भएको छ। आखिर यो पनि खाद्य वस्तु पेय पदार्थ नै भएको कारणले गर्दा यसलाई पनि एउटा नियमन गर्नुपर्छ। यो पनि एउटा पेय पदार्थ हो होइन। यिनीहरूलाई चाहिँ सर्टिफिकेसन गर्ने र जसले सर्टिफिकेसन बडीबाट मात्रै उत्पादन गर्ने भनेर चाहिँ यस सम्बन्धमा चाहिँ होमवर्क भइरहेको छ होइन। त्यसले अर्को होटल रेस्टुरेन्टहरूलाई चाहिँ एउटा रेटिङ गर्ने भनेर 2074 सालमा चाहिँ डाइरेक्टिभ्स बन्यो। हुन चाहिँ यो धेरै अगाडिदेखि नै मैले अघि नै जानकारी गराएँ कि हाम्रो पूर्व डिजी जीवन प्रभा लामाज्यूको एउटा उसमा नै एउटा कन्सेप्ट हो यो चाहिँ उहाँले नै डिजाइन गर्नुभएको हो। हामीले के गर्यौँ भन्दा आर्किटेक्ट गरेको मात्र हो। कसरी कसलाई चाहिँ हामी एउटा 3 स्टार दिने, कसैलाई 2 स्टार दिने, कसैलाई 1 स्टार दिने, कसलाई चाहिँ येल्लो दिने भनेर हामी कलर कोडिङको आधारमा हामीले रेटिङ गरेका छौँ, क्याटेगोराइज गरेका छौँ होटल रेस्टुरेन्टहरूलाई होइन। अहिलेसम्म हामीले चाहिँ 1000 मोर देन 1000 होटल रेस्टुरेन्टहरूलाई चाहिँ क्याटेगोराइज गरिसकेका छौँ। यो किन भन्दाखेरि नेपाल जस्तो देशमा जुन हाम्रो अर्थतन्त्र भनेको नेपाल एउटा टुरिस्टिक कन्ट्री भएको कारणले गर्दा टुरिज्मसँग जोडिएको कुरो भनेको फुड सेफ्टी र फुड सेफ्टी भएको कारणले गर्दा यिनीहरूलाई कसरी रेटिङ गर्ने भन्ने उद्देश्यले यो क्याटेगोराइज गर्न यो डाइरेक्टिभ्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ र भएको कारणले हामीले यो बनाइसकेका छौँ। अझ काम हुन बाँकी नै छ र त्यस्तै स्ट्यान्डर्ड।
थ्याङ्क यू सो मच सर, एकदमै प्र्याक्टिकल कुराहरू भन्दै हुनुहुन्छ। बट हजुरलाई मैले ऱ्यापअप गर्नलाई रिक्वेस्ट गरेँ सर।
हुन्छ र 2 मिनट्स मैले सरी म सिधिहालेँ मैले। अब हाम्रो स्ट्यान्डर्ड पनि धेरै फुडका स्ट्यान्डर्ड पनि बनिसकेका छन्। दानाको 8वटा भइसकेको छ भने फुडको चाहिँ 125वटा स्ट्यान्ड हामीले बनिसकेका छौँ। अब यो त्यस्तै मैले गभर्मेन्टको कुरा गरेँ। अब प्रोसेसरको पनि रोल छ। प्रोसेसरहरूले पनि जिएमपीहरू फलो गर्नुपर्छ, कमिटमेन्ट हुनु पर्यो होइन। अनि तपाईँको यो के अरे कन्ज्युमरको पनि रोल छ। कन्ज्युमरले खालि कम्प्लेन मात्र गर्ने होइन, कन्ज्युमरले के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ गभर्मेन्टलाई पोजिटिभ प्रेसर दिनुपर्छ होइन, भन्ने सपोर्ट गर्नुपर्छ क्वालिटी प्रोडक्टलाई भन्ने कुरो मैले यहाँ जानकारी गराउन चाहेँ। अब यो चेनको कुराहरू छन्, फार्म टु फर्क कन्सेप्ट सबै मिलेर स्टेक होल्डर गएर अगाडि बढ्न सक्यो भने फुड सेफ्टीमा फर्क मार्न सकिन्छ। यो टुल्सका सिस्टमेटिक टुल्सहरूको बारेमा जानकारी गराएँ। यानि गभर्मेन्टको क्षेत्रमा यो एनजिओ, आइएनजिओ, एकाडेमिक इन्स्टिट्युसन, प्राइभेट सेक्टर, लोकल प्रोभिन्स र सेन्ट्रल गभर्मेन्ट एक भयो भने यो अगाडि बढ्न सकिन्छ। अब कन्क्लुजनमा चाहिँ मैले के भन्न चाहेँ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ फुड साइन्स टेक्नोलोजी र न्युट्रिसन चाहिँ एउटा ह्युमन सिभिलाइजेसनको एउटा इन्टिग्रल पार्ट हो। हेर्नु यो हामीले हेर्दै जाने भने हिजो कुनै समयमा जङ्गली जनावर माछा मासु खाँदै आउँथ्यो भने अब अहिले हामी डाइट्री सप्लिमेन्ट खाने लेभलमा आएका छौँ। यो सभ्यताको क्रममा यो विभिन्न सभ्यता पार हुँदै 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 अघि हामीले अतुल सरले भनिसक्नुभयो बलियो नेपालको पाउडर हामीले खाए जस्तै यसलाई मासुबाट सुरु गर्दै आएको हो होइन। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ अब स्ट्यान्डर्डहरू बनाउनु पर्यो। सबै ठाउँमा फुड सेफ्टीको प्रत्याभूति दिनलाई सबै सेक्टरमा प्रोभिन्सहरूमा यसको युनिटहरू इस्टाब्लिस हुनु पर्यो, सबैजना कमिटेड हुनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरो मैले जानकारी गराउन चाहेँ। अब यो 1-2टा मैले साइडहरू मात्र के गर्न खोजेँ भन्दाखेरि कोभिड-19 पेन्डेमिकको बेलामा चाहिँ तरकारीहरू धेरै फ्यालियो। हेर्नु है यहाँनिर 1-2टा इम्पोर्टेन्ट कुरा छ। यो 2 मिनट टाइम दिनु होला। यो चाहिँ के भयो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ धेरै सब्जीहरू फ्याल्यो। तरकारीबाट चाहिँ यो कोभिड-19 चाहिँ यो कन्टाजियस हुन्छ भनेर गलत इन्फर्मेसनहरू पनि आयो र कृषकहरू चाहिँ मार्न पर्ने कुरो आयो। सकारात्मक सन्देशहरू पनि हामीले धेरै दिएका छौँ। एनालाइसिस पनि गरौँ, स्याम्पल कलेक्सन पनि गरौँ, मन्त्रालयको लेभलबाट विभिन्न किसिमको विज्ञप्तिहरू पनि जारी गरियो होइन। यो एवेरनेस एवेरनेस पनि हामीलाई चाहिँ ल्याक भएको कारणले गर्दा अभावको कारणले गर्दा हामी कोभिडबाट तर्सिनु पर्ने स्थिति भयो। यहाँनिर यी धेरै किसिमका पम्पलेटहरू हामीले यो डिस्ट्रिब्युट गरेका छौँ। इन्डस्ट्रीमा गएर उनीहरूलाई एवेयर गराएका छौँ होइन। ट्रेनिङहरू गरेका छौँ। यो अहोरात्र यो तपाईँको कोभिड-19को बेला पनि हाम्रा कर्मचारी साथीहरू चाहिँ सबै जानुभएको छ, लिफलेटहरू वितरण गर्नुभएको छ, इन्फर्मेसन एजुकेसनहरू दिने काम चाहिँ गरिराख्नु भएको छ। यी सम्पूर्ण कामहरू कोभिडको बेला चाहिँ हामीले गरेको जानकारी गरेँ। मसँग धेरै कुराहरू चाहिँ अब पछि बसेर छलफल पनि गरौँला। यो धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद आयोजकलाई र यति भन्दै म यहाँबाट बिदा लिएँ। पछि सेयर गरौँला यस विषयमा है। हस्, धन्यवाद।
यस एकदमै धेरै धन्यवाद सर, धेरै practical कुराहरू डिस्कसनमा ल्याइदिनु भयो. And we do have some questions set for you, mainly related to the triangulation that you were talking about between the academic institution, government and private sector, which we will discuss in question and answer session, sir. धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद. हामी अगाडि बढ्छौँ.
Thank you.
Okay, so may I request our technical team to please switch the slides to our slides so that we can move to our next speaker. Okay, so to preserve few minutes, I would like to introduce you all to Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Anal. And in the meantime, I request Dr. Anal to unmute himself, and I'll be introducing you to our participants. So you are currently the professor and head of Department of Food, Agriculture and Bioresources at the Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand. Your background expertise is in the food and nutrition security, food safety, food and bioprocessing and preservation, and bioeconomy. So with your profound experience as an academician and a researcher, you are here with us to share your expertise in the topic, importance of food science and technology for feeding the world today and tomorrow. So the platform is all yours, and here we are. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, namaste and very good afternoon, all of you. Let me first thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Special thanks to INSA and Ghanshyam for introduction and giving opportunity to come this platform. It is really privileged to be with all of you here, just share my short views here. And I'm really also just privileged to know that I heard from Atulji as well as Ishwarji, learning a lot from them as well about. And I'm also thankful Jiman Parvamanam is also here. So special thanks to her to being with us and all the participants. Okay, I'll be going not like in what we are doing in Nepal, but I'll be coming as the regional or global perspectives little bit, where the food science need to be today and tomorrow, which can be helping for the better health. That's the, like we have been listening, there's a need of nutrition, there's a need of safety, and I will just show you that some of what we have been doing and trying to work. So with the just introduction given by INSA, at this current position, I'm the professor and head of the Department of Food, Agriculture and Bioresources at the Asian Institute of Technology, which is based in Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, so it was just about AIT, where I'm actually currently. AIT is a postgraduate institution. I think many of in Nepal, everybody knows. Even many of my students are there as alumni in Nepal now, based there as well. So we have many more, that only postgraduate means master and PhD here, with more than 30 academic programs. Okay, and then you can see that around 1,600 to 1,700 students. Out of that, 30%, 33% are doctoral students, and we have the students from all over Asia, Africa, and some from Europe and US as well. So it's around 48 countries at this moment. Similarly, the faculty members are almost 80, which are from different region, different continents. You can see they are from here. Our main job here, not only doing to teaching, but also for the research. So almost we spend around 60 to 70% time more on the research. So our more inclination, because having been in postgraduate institutions, that's the another priority. Like I mentioned already in AIT, which is why I mentioned already that we have the true international, and inside is a global village, we say. Within the Asia, we have the global village coming there, and you can find many more things there. Obviously, AIT has been, we are being not an undergraduate institutions, we are not going for the academic rankings on those, but obviously recently has been ranked for the just say that everybody, I think many of you, okay, and that's the nutrition and health, which is newly established just this year, and another food engineering and bioprocess technology, which has been. And our objective is here after the productions, that the coming from the farm. So the after farm processing, enhance the processing, taking that what can be how you can enhancing more nutrition, also looking for the safety aspects, how you can maximally utilize. And at this moment, we are looking more on the health nutrition more point of view, how you can have that not to have the waste. So utilize more wastage to the value additions. And that's our, and then also we are looking for, like we have been talking, like Tulsi was mentioning, as fortification as well. So fortification is one component where you can make, but at the same time, the food, if you can enhance by doing some way the technologies which can make a better food, healthier food, and that can give the society as well. So those are the parts we are talking. If anybody more interested, please feel free to talk with me, or the Sushil is also here, who was speaking yesterday as well, works with me. You can communicate later as well. Coming to the point for what is the role of the food science and technology at the current situations? Okay, where we are and what we need to do, whether it is Nepal or coming all the developing countries, why we are behind, like we have been listening from our previous speakers as well, and Ishwarji was trying to put that what the government role is there, where the industry need to be. So if you talk the food and the technology is not a new thing, right? Why always, even I start in class to tell the same story, where we have been cooking, and I give the best example of the making yogurt. Like we all know, I mean, we don't know when it was started. It's a long time ago. When we are talking that, then why we everybody knows that yogurt making is a science as well. It's not a simple yogurt making. There is a science behind it. So why we never thought ourselves that why we don't need a science to be developed in every, when our grandmother is cooking something, why we cannot translate as an industry? Now industry can be translated, but industry needs a lot of efforts, okay, a lot of research and innovations there. Okay, so rightly said earlier as well, the kimchi and those, what we have been learning in the classes, these are the courses you learn. And these are not the new courses you are learning in the bachelor's only. You have been learning from the grade 5 up to the master and PhD. But it is how we can make implementation, how we can bring to the real science, real life. These are the science. Like I took the biotechnology, and you can see that I give the example. There are a lot of new things are there coming that I have some examples. We learned how to make bread and those things. That's also the science. But at the same time, yogurt is part of biotechnology as well, right? So how we can make. Now I give example here, and everybody will know now Yakult. Now Yakult is nothing the drinking yogurt, but why the guy become millionaire within a year and we could not make? There is a thought. So I have the appeal to the young generation, think a little more on that perspectives rather than thinking that you are going to work and developing and learning the science. Learn the science, check there what is needed to be more, how we can help industry, or how we can be ourselves entrepreneur, or how we can make our government to more conscious to think that they will make tomorrow strategically or policy. Or another way, also you make a compulsory to your instructor or teacher or the professors that how they will be thinking to think you more, that how this science can be converted as the actual applications which would make ourselves more healthier society through the food innovations. Okay, that's me. That's my main. Now the challenges are all the time there. We have to think more, but the challenges, like you saw there, we have a lot of food needed there because we have a lot more populations increasing. But if you think like increasing the populations, are we not making a lot of? Now I just take example, I have not put in the slides, but think how much we are wasting the food, right? How much we are making. It's simple in Nepal in our case as well. Don't have data, but you can think of how much post-harvest loss we have in any, whether you're talking rice cereals, we are talking potatoes, onions, vegetables, like you saw there, some of the slide of Vishwajit, it was showing only for the COVID-19, but if you go back, look for the previous also, there are much more that we have been throwing. And if the globally saying that almost 40% of the food is wasted, not only through the post-harvest losses, but also even at the consumer level, which is more than developing is the developed countries. If you can save that one, we can save many of the people getting not to hunger at the night. They can be easily getting food. So there is a need of the strategy again. There is a need of the technology to be developed that we need to learn more enhanced technologies which can help us. Now malnutrition, which Atulji has very nicely already communicated in the very first speaker, he was talking all these things that how we can enhance there by the fortifications or enhancing the food itself or utilizing, like he was giving the example of the Lito. Now you can think that we have the underutilized lot of millets or the cereals in our countries, which if you can really make a good product from there, it has a lot, not only in Nepal, but it can go globally. Here how it happened. You see, I just tried to put in one slide, and you can see there is not only coming in our countries, but it's the developed countries as well. All the industrialized countries having the bigger problems of this food safety. And more than that, how much we are using the chemical things that is making the big challenges. Okay, and there is a lot. One of the major challenges coming antimicrobial resistance. And I think we need to be very much cautious to think ourselves how much we are using, other than the pesticides, the fertilizers, the other chemicals which are coming through the processing. That is also the point of thought. Now I just give one figure here. There is estimation that 10 million deaths by 2050 will be due to antibiotic resistance, and it can cost $66 trillion the pound there as well. So you can think, you see that the right coming from the developing countries, rather is coming from the Netherlands data. And the recent data is showing that even they have the contaminations, the soil has been contaminated through the fourth generation of antibiotic, what is called the cephalosporins and those. So that makes a lot of conscious. And where it is mainly coming through food as well. One of the main is culprit, you can say that the food. Now how we can protect that one, right? Now the water is there contaminated, that water not to be contaminated, right? The COVID-19, which is making we have the pandemic getting a lot more now. We are still not sure how it is going to overcome, but hopefully it will be overcome by sooner or later. And then we have, again, challenges will be there. So we have been trying. Now why the viruses or the bacteria are getting mutated? Why they are coming to time changing? Now, if you think, I give just example, everybody knows now that 100 years back, we had this flu virus, which was the first one, Spanish flu, which killed so many people. Now after 100 years, we have still same situation. The science is not developed that much that can solve those problems. So this generation especially had to think a lot more how you can make a more healthier society, okay? And where we learn through by generating the ideas, learning from the books, but generating the ideas. Be more innovative. We have to be more innovative to think how you can protect ourselves now and in the future as well. Okay. If for the food we are thinking where we are, okay, now we are growing by number that we saw that 9 billion will be by 2050. But at the same time, we are growing somewhere there is a malnutrition. People are getting not having enough food, getting hunger night, not getting enough food there as well, right? There is a undernutrition, but at the same time, there are the people who are getting overweight and obesity. Now, it's not only coming due to that there is a lot of food eating, that one is not. It's due to the processed food, or it is due to there are the food which has been already contaminated, or there is now genetic which is making them the obese as well. Okay. Now you know that the agings are coming problem. It's not in the now in the developed countries, but it's also in the developing countries. There are a lot more aging problems are there, which is getting, and you don't have the highly nutritious food which can make, and that cause the disease. And there is a lot of, if you have a lot of disease, obviously we don't have the proper nutrition, and then the medicine and the safe as well. So okay, those are things we need to think. Things that as a technology we need to think. Speaker was also mentioning that we need a lot of foods or dietary supplements are coming into the markets, and there the new regulations are coming as well. That's very good to know there. At the same time, is it possible as a food technologist we can incorporate in the food itself, rather than there are nutraceuticals is fine, which is coming from the food material itself is good, but if it is you can make in the food itself, which diets are available there and you're eating there, then you are much more bringing the food technology in the place where industry can get better provision and better products in the market as well. Okay. So I was just thinking what are the challenges and how can overcome, where is needed, how can we overcome it? Need to be a lot of discussions, okay, a lot of changes in the policies, a lot of changes in academic areas, right, as well as the synergize between the academics, the government policies, as well as the industries, all has to come together to changes. But what are the challenges I include, and that like previous speakers have been making as well? There is a lack of robust academic excellence. We are still far away from the research capabilities, and we are not generating the innovative ideas which can make us in the front line. We need to make. I like very good examples. I'm coming to the next slide. I can tell you that we can make what we have the resources. If you just think our own innovative ideas, bring that how you can change the people. Like we take the examples of the kimchi as well. Okay, so like adaptation of the novel technologies from the traditional one, and that's the innovation will help you as well. Obviously, earlier speakers also mentioned there is a need a synergize between academic and industries as well. Okay, and we need to have the sustainable as well as stability in the food supplies. Okay, obviously we need to. There are a lot of disasters we used to get in our countries as well, and those natural disasters, like sometimes we get the flooding, sometimes we have the earthquakes, sometimes we are getting now pandemics, such type of things, not for us only, but it's global. But this is even not in our hand, but as a food technology, just think, if you can bring something which can be sustainable, which can be making easily accessible to the people, which has been feeling And I can tell you that you have some potties like, and then you have the packaging system which can have the shelf life bit longer, which can bring to the consumers at the right time, right place when they need. That will help. So that's our, as a food technologist, I think that's our job as well, to find out. So not only thinking, let's think like what is happening in the world, or even in our countries where we need to move. And everybody knows one example I take from the McDonald's, and I like it from that's why I put the DSM who has put there where we are. If you think the McDonald's, when they started this idea for the fast food systems, like in the giving in the packet food to the people who started in like the US in 50s, now they have just like some burgers, some chocolates, milkshake together, and those things are there. Okay, but while that's coming to the 90s, because the people start loving, people start become more working, going together, the couples are working, the whole family is working, no time for cooking and eating there together. That's changed the lifestyle. And when the lifestyle changes, now you can see that there the jumbo size, the burgers are with the big jumbo size coming, and you give, like if you see in those countries, they give that one burger you get the Coca-Cola free. So those type of things start coming there. Okay. But at the same time, if you go to current in the McDonald's, when we go there, we see that the consumer choice has been changing. Now they are no more loving only to eating those meat or the burgers of the big or the Coca-Cola, but they are looking more healthier. And so they said that if you go to the McDonald's, you can easily find there a separate is a salad bar is there. They are putting more salad effort. They are cooking the rice as well. They are making the chicken, which is different. French fries has to be different. Now that type of things are changing, and this is changing here. Okay. So what are you thinking? Newer world technologies is making. Now coming to our context, I was just putting here a couple of examples from here, and the previous speaker was also mentioning there. We have gundruk, we have mashora, right? We have the pickles. Now, why our gundruk not go to the global kitchen? Why the kimchi go to the kitchen, global kitchen everywhere? Even Nepali, we eat kimchi. It's the same thing, right? We, as a food science, we know the technologies. And the same thing there, the small boy was always watching his grandmother, and then he start concept, my grandmother can save the food waste, like, and bringing something value addition, people love it, then why should? But sometimes we feel, so what we need here, we need to think how we can make this, the gundruk or masura or similar, there are a lot more things we have in our Nepal, I mean local resources, which can be simply transforming these old technologies, what has been done in the household, bring to the industrialize, trying to industrialize. So the new generation of food technology need to think how you can make as more value addition to put for the future generations and the people, the consumers' choice you can like. Right? It's not like just like adding some spices and you can make the people will eat. That's the wrong concept. So you have to generate the product which will be sustainable, which might have the more self-life, which also need to be tasty. But at the same time, it needs to be healthier. I think you know that already. We don't like to eat the oil of the sesame or that, but the India has made the huge plants of the sesame, not for Indian market, but for the global market, where the developed countries like Europe, Japan, South Korea, those countries are needing and getting their products. So we need to think also. I'm not telling only that where is that or who can be doing, but our teaching style, our teaching process, right? Our contents. At the same time, as a mind thought, as a professor, as a individual students who are here and in the future, as well as the policies, that all has to be come together to change, which can bring a new science. Obviously, this is not a new science. It's an innovative science, which need to be bring and which can make us more there. So in the summary here, you can see that traditionally what, now if you go to the industries, in the global, the bigger industries like the larger enterprises, they are no more interested in cooking rice anymore. You don't find any of their product, their research, they don't do any research on those things. What they are looking for is that how you can make even the rice cooking, right? How you can have the rice, the cooked rice, right? Less, what is that called? Low glycemic index. Okay, how you make there. That even the diabetic patient can eat that rice. They are thinking more on that. How you can make rice which can having more value, maybe some vitamin added there, which can add, and you might be knowing even the water is coming like that. So there is a need of the transformation in the processes, and there are a lot we have been doing now. A lot of research is going on, and that is making there as well. Okay, so that's the there is an innovation in food production, processing, and that's the need for the new product development for the consumers and the environment. Okay, I'll take you just few of the examples what we are doing here as well, and then we need to think more, like the bio-innovation, food ingredients and health, where you have the traditional food to convert into the functional food. Okay, one can be fortification, like we are talking probiotics, prebiotics, directly use probiotics. That was the Yakult, which the concept came in 85, suppose 1980s. Now that become very popular. Why we cannot make something which can be, why our graduates cannot think more on that, which can bring more value additions from there. And we have, like, again, I'm telling, we have a lot of resources. We just need to keep our eye open. We need to keep our mind open and eye open, and we can have much more things to think around here, which can be helping you. Okay, there are a lot of we eat bananas as well. We eat everything here. Okay, even in there we throw there, like after a few days, without knowing the concept that, yeah, this banana might have some values more. Okay, I'm not talking here that banana peel is better than banana. That's not. Sometimes back I was giving in India talk, and one of the times of India is still in the paper that came, that I was telling that banana peel has some value there, so don't throw. But then the paper wrote that this professor is saying the banana peel is better than banana. That was wrong. That's the media does that way. So, okay, that's not. But then obviously the banana peel has a lot of antioxidants and those things. That is giving some examples we are trying to make here. But why we are making this one is this contains a huge amount of nutrients and resources we have that can be additional giving value to the industries, if you're thinking like that. And that's the some of those developing and the industrial countries, they are more targeting as well. Okay, like I'm just putting you here because some of my Nepali students who have been working in thesis, their master thesis, and they have done excellent job here as well. Like from the xylitol, the xylitol, which can be not the, this is xylitol is the 5 carbon, which can be replacing the sugar. And now, the sugar is becoming a major issue not to use there for health point of views. And our food has more sugar and salt that need to be reduced. Okay, like is putting the egg cell membrane. If you talk about the industries, they are throwing the eggs, but egg has a lot more value of the cells as well. Okay, so those type of things are there, which is not need to be thinking more, having more values, this type of mind there, how we can utilize those values, including what we have. Plus, now here what I also want to highlight there, okay, these are the things I've been talking, but what I also want to highlight here is the underutilized cereals, millets products what we have in Nepal. That is very much needed. Now many of the underutilized, like some of my students have been working and we work as well, like some of the millets, like take proso millets and those, these have they are called now the slow food, which contains high amount of fiber as well, less amount of starch, contain good amount of proteins as well. And those are can be considered as the prebiotics. Means once it becomes slow food, means they are going to be fermented inside the larger intestine where we have our good bacteria. Okay, with that concept, if you have in there, if you can make together mix, you can have the good product in Nepal from our own resources. And that's I have tried to highlight here. It's like if we can make better food ourselves, not for only our people, but there is a chances that industry can grow. But obviously then for the industry to grow and go to the bigger market from the outside market, we have to follow the quality assurance, all these GMPs and those things, the regulations for the other countries as well. We know we have been talking that one, and there is needed. So that can mix. So that is like this type of foods are coming. What is the symbiotics called? Means you have, but you try to think what we have, not bringing from outside, again, raw materials. That will be expensive and that will be costing us. But rather than what we have here, it's not like that we don't have. If you start looking for the probiotics from all the Hind Kush region, actually that's, and there we have been, if you think, go back and look for the Gundruk and those, it has been fermentation has been done. If we start exploring that only, I think Nepal has a lot of potential to introduce the good microorganism itself. Okay, some of our senior researchers, actually Tika sir was supposed to be here. He has done some work earlier as well, and that could have made a lot of benefits if we can explore much further. And with that, the young generation, if you start looking for those combinations, and I can see there, that's for the research part. But then how we can include in our curriculum as well, that can give the benefits to learning, much more benefit. Okay, that's the thing we need to focus. Okay. Now we have been talking that if people becoming this more unhealthier due to we have no healthier foods, which can make medicinal expenses from young generation to the old. Now, few examples which can help us to think ourselves how we can incorporate food itself as a medicine. Now, it's not again a new concept. If you think about the Hippocrates, he himself told that food is a medicine itself, but then somewhere deviated because we cannot make that. If you know that the banana contains very good amount of serotonin itself, the stimulator. Okay, so eating like that, you change your habit, then again, there are a lot of antioxidants we have. Now here in Thailand, one of the company has recently introduced, it's called the sleeping milk. Okay, it's a very good, simple idea. And then I visited there, we have been talking there and told that what you are making there. I mean, simply, the melatonin is the hormone which makes you more sleep. Now the sleeping means in milk, they might fortification, but they're saying, no, we feed the cow and cow is giving the milk, which is getting the sleeping. Okay, that's the different story now bringing. But now they were thinking about some old people who cannot sleep for them. But now they are getting more for the younger people who thinks that, okay, after sleeping, and that's take the bigger market. Just a simple adding of some melatonin there, helping to get more. Okay, so these type of things are a lot more this coming, and we need to think more ourselves that where we can make these products where, and these are not coming just like by doing exercise and learning. It needs a lot of technologies, means understanding the science behind it and then developing the technology which can help you there. Okay, this simple, I tell you one antioxidants. If you know this fruit, this is the we don't have, I think, in Nepal, but this is called mangosteen. This is in Thailand. This is my own research we have done here. You see that this is the waste coming from the peel, which is, you can see the very colorful. It contains very high amount of anthocyanin, and we have tested also this one and feeding the rat as well. We find that it can reduce more than 50-60% of the cholesterol level by adding there. Some of my students who have used for this to making ice cream and those, and then that's very effective there. Okay, this is telling. Now question comes that I told you there are the science behind, but then where is the need of the technology? I just described one technology here. The few technologies how the probiotics like the good bacteria you can incorporate. Now you know that bacteria cannot survive more than 50 degrees centigrade, can be dying. So there are technologies like suppose encapsulation which can be incorporated, which is not expensive things, which is not unhealthier. You have to think as well. You can incorporate in the food materials. You can make there more available for the human that one. I have done some research with the Mass University now recently. Don't get surprised that PepsiCo has buying that one. We have done patent already there, and PepsiCo has the sister organization called Tropicana, who is bringing some beverages, food, juice from that with the encapsulated probiotics, which can now sustain with the pasteurization temperature, means can effective for the 95 degrees centigrade as well. So there is a small technologies, not a small technologies behind it, which can help to protect from the killing the bacteria, but it can be utilized for the applications. Okay, I just told you already that mangosteen can help to make a good, which has the higher antioxidant capacity. You can incorporate in the ice cream. That was my student was very much loving ice cream, so she wanted to make the healthier ice cream. Obviously, healthier ice cream is you have the cream there as well, but utilizing this pericarp, which has very high anthocyanin antioxidant activity, which can be incorporated. Now we are talking that banana peel. I was it whole PhD of two of my PhD students done, and the objective was to develop incorporate that the fish oil in food product itself. We are eating the fish oil capsules. We don't have the sea, suppose in Nepal, we don't get, so it's expensive as well. But if you can get the raw fish and then incorporate it, and I can tell you the right side, you can see that the muffin has been developed. That's one of the example where there was no smell of the fish oil itself. If you try to let the fish oil, you cannot stay in the room. So much smell is there. Okay, so these are the things there, like encapsulation. I can show you that these are the works we have done in our labs here, and the students are doing. This is the way to develop. A very simple example, what can be implicated in Nepal as well, that these type of things, what we jump. You know, the turmeric beverage, we are talking now in the COVID as well, we should drink turmeric more. And this has been done few years ago, actually, one of my PhD students did. And we try to make turmeric because here the people don't like some quite bitter. Then they want to put the sugar there. So idea came, if we can ferment with the lactobacillus, which is the probiotics, and then taste will be changing, there will be no bitterness, and we succeed to make that one. And what we find there, if you do the fermentation, the antioxidant activities has been increased sharply of that. Of my student Alicia. There that time to use first, you know that a lot of the girls as well, the pregnant ladies, they try to chew the churpi. So we're thinking that if you can make fermented product of that one and enhancing the folic acid itself, because folic acid, when the lady want to get the pregnant or conceiving, before that it is a must to have the folic acid, and we are eating a lot of, the people are not prescribed a lot of capsules, tablets for that. So if you have in the food materials, if you incorporate there, if you do fortification by direct methods, so we try that one as well, but the problem was that should be that through the being folic acid, the water soluble, it was coming out from there. So a lot more research to there, but what we make there is good, that we make some of the, in Thailand especially, the soya milk is very more popular, and we can effect so that 150% of the folic acid in the milk of the fermented soya as well, and the cow milk as well, dairy milk, has been increased. So that gives a lot of impact that can be future more works need to be done, and these are helping as well. Okay. Now we have a lot of microorganisms, including yeast or the bacteria, what I show you, and is the microalgae, which is coming very much high potential for even the single cell protein. Now there are the companies who are working already, those getting a lot of the proteins or getting high amount of vitamins, and those, if we can think as well. Talking on the biotech, how they are helping is very simple example I take here is when Thailand already they implementing. They are not other than papaya, which is not allowed in Thailand to make genetically modification, but this has been done because there was a virus, ring spot virus, which was difficult to remove. So the Thailand allowed to do genetically modification using the microorganism, and now there is no more ring spot virus, which can be the future. So our strategy has been changing, has to change sometimes to bring this type of things. If you know about yellow rice, which is actually a golden rice, which is containing the vitamin A, it has been developed by Rice Research Institute, and which is very popular now, obviously. So the purpose was developing is that for us, staple rice is the staple food we eat all the time. So how we can increase there, which has some vitamins as well, which is not incorporating. So this rice, now there are a lot more things are coming even. Okay, the new research are coming there. You know that the people are trying not to make, so through the bioculture, if you have news somewhere, read now the greenhouse gas emission, the water use there, water security problems are coming, and the farming system is more difficult. So they are trying to make the culture of the meat. So they are saying that you can eat the burger from the petri plate. So petri plate in the lab, we can develop and that make as well. Okay. So these are the things simply also to do with the biopreservation, and that I'm not taking now time and try to put that these are the works can be much more, which can be advanced, and the industries are looking much more there. The last what we need. You have been seeing this picture all the time there, but think more on that. How this science, as a food technologist or as a food scientist, think more. How we can incorporate, just saying that, okay, you make eat that one, which can be healthier. But when we cook, we lose everything, right? How we make more, that's, so it's just saying that what we eat, what we are, okay? So with that thought, thank you very much. And you're welcome to have it.
We are so fortunate to have this very comprehensive presentation, and I'm so enthralled by your sincerity. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so we are at the end of sessions, I should say, into question and answer session. But since we are quite behind our schedule time, so we will just take one particular question that is set for Atul sir. Sir, if you could shed some light about youth's role in bridging the accessibility of nutritious food in Nepal, because we all are aware that Nepal has such a varied geographical aspects. So what can be the youth's role to bridge this gap in the accessibility of nutritious food? Can we just have your take on this, sir?
That was quite a question for me. Thanks. Youth role too, or you could do mantra portion mantra, formulation, marketing, scaling up. I see youth role in all these three things. If we can use our youth to our speakers clearly food safety traditional foods supplements I see youth everywhere, frankly speaking, right? What youth needs is a good mentorship to our sector youth life, a very good opportunity to our sector youth life. I think youth can change this world. Absolutely no doubt about it. नेपालको हकमा कुरा गर्ने हो भनेदेखि भने नेपालका केही यस्ता कार्यक्रमहरू छन् जुन कार्यक्रमहरुमा चाहिँ युवा रोजगार सम्बन्धीदेखि लिएर युवाले आफै पनि गर्न सक्ने के यो म चाहिँ आई वुड कल न्यूट्रिसन एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिप भनेर जुन एउटा न्यूट्रिसन मै फोकसको कुरा गर्ने न्यूट्रिसन एन्टरप्रेन्योरशिपको कुराहरुमा पनि युथले गर्न सक्छ. There does not have to be a massive investment, हैन, थोरै इन्भेस्टमेन्टमा पनि ठूलो काम गर्न सकिन्छ है. र अघि अनिल सरले सायद भन्नु भएको थियो त्यो कुरो कि थिंक बिग भनेर, हैन, एकदम ठूलो सोच्नु पर्यो, आउट अफ बक्स सोच्नै पर्छ. स्टेटस को हुँदैन, स्टेटस कोले चल्ने वाला छैन, एकदम क्लियर कुरो हो यो. सो यो एंगलबाट गर्न सक्यो भने एब्सोल्युटली गर्न सकिन्छ. र हाम्रा जस्तै केही संस्थानहरु नेपालमा छन् र विदेशमा पनि केही संस्थानहरु छन् जसले चाहिँ युवाहरुको लागि प्रोत्साहनको लागि विभिन्न कार्यक्रमहरु गर्न सक्छ. विभिन्न माध्यमबाट अप्रोच गर्नु पर्यो, नेटवर्किङको लागि, लिंकेजको लागि, सम्बन्धित व्यक्तित्वहरुलाई भेटेर हुन्छ कसरी हुन्छ हैन. सो मेनी एभेन्यूज टु डु ऑल दिस थिंग्स. त्यो मोडलमा गयो भने आई थिंक युवाहरुलाई अगाडि ल्याउनको लागि हामी सबैजना तयार छौं. अहिले केही स्पिकर्सहरु नै तयार छौं हैन. त्यसमा मलाई पनि म त भोलि नेपालको तर्फबाट मेरो व्यक्तिगत तर्फबाट म त प्रतिबद्धता नै जाहेर गर्छु तपाईहरुको यो प्रोग्रामको मार्फतबाट युवाहरुको सपोर्टको लागि. एब्सोल्युटली आई एम अलवेज देयर, माय अर्गनाइजेसन इज अलवेज देयर, बट देयर शुड बी इनोभेटिभ आइडियाज हैन. इनोभेसन ल्याउनु पर्यो. इनोभेसन डज नट हैव टु बी रकेट साइन्स हुनु पर्दैन. सिम्पल अघि जुन अनिल सरले याकुल्टको एक्जाम्पल दिनुभयो नि, द्याट इज एन एक्सिलेन्ट एक्जाम्पल व्हाई द्याट पर्सन बिकम अ मिलियनियर हैन. उले कुनै मोबाइल ठुलो विज्ञानले ल्याएको थिएन. सिम्पल साना कुराहरु गरेरै गर्न सकिन्छ. र त्यसमा चाहिँ 30 इयर्स भन्दा कमको युवाहरुको ब्रेन चल्यो. हामी त बुढो भइसक्यो, हाम्रो ब्रेन चल्दैन. अब त्यो युवाहरुले नै चलाउने हो र जस्ट हामीले चाहिँ बाटोमा देखाउने. आई थिंक that is how I can say at this moment. Inshaji, thank you so much for the question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. That was such a meaningful answer. Mentorship, opportunity, and networking. Okay, so your 3 keywords लाई अगाडि लिँदै हामी चाहिँ सेसन लाई अगाडि बढाउन चाहन्छु. And in the meantime, we did receive some questions, but I request our technical team